Hello. Hello, hello.
Hi.
First episode of Mama Bear Defense Show. Something we've been talking about for a while, something I've been thinking about for a while. And I'm Crystal Reese, and I'm here with,
Shonna Martinez,
and I am in Kansas, and Shonna is in,
Tehachapi, California.
yeah, good times. And so we are going to talk. Usually it'll be me and someone, maybe Shonna more. We're going to just hit my thing. We're going to be rotating through some people, maybe having multiples if we could get more of our instructors on board. So how we are going to do this is we are going to break down some of the gun news that I found, and let's talk a little bit about it. Then we're going to introduce Shonna more fully because the Mama Bear Defense world kind of has seen pictures of you, but they don't really know you that well. And then what were we going to end with? I have notes here, guys. I'm on it. We're going to end with on a positive note of a self-defense story of woohoo, we're doing stuff. Guns are saving lives. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is funny. Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. A dude he was filming a video series of which oil filter is the best for his truck. Have you heard this?
No, this
Okay.
sounds like it's gonna be good.
So he bought, and he's a vet, also a military veteran, and he bought a bunch of oil filters, and he's doing this like these videos. Well, that triggered the Homeland Security, and they started going into all of his purchasing history. And not only did they do that, they showed up to his house, and apparently he lives out in the boondocks, so they like took a drive, showed up to his house and confronted him, thinking that he was making suppressors for his guns.
Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
if you knew that, but technically you can make, I guess, if you do some modifications, I don't know. And they just assume, since he's a military vet, that he just knows this. And what was really funny about this story is that this guy, he didn't even know that was possible. So now because of this story.
Wrong branch of the military.
Yeah, right. Wrong branch of the military. Yeah. So now because of this story, now we're all learning that apparently you can make suppressors with.
I'm sure we can Google it and see what we can find on how to make suppressors.
Yeah, and then become a felon. So probably not the best thing to do. Oh, Googling won't make you, but yeah.
No, but I'm sure the entertainment world has done it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've seen YouTube videos. My husband would know the name of the people that do them, but yeah. So that's the first story that I thought was just silly and kind of crazy.
That's a good one. I like that.
The things that trigger Homeland Security. Okay, here's another one. I'm sure you've heard about this in California. The bill AB 2847. I don't know how much you know about it. It's talking about the roster, the gun roster in California. And the reason this bill is horrendous is for every gun that they add, they will remove
3 more.
Yes. That were existing.
So
yeah,
it's I can't, I'm on the fence. The purpose of that bill is, it's like allowing these people just go, let's go ahead and pat them on the head and keep moving forward. But the end result for us folks that are here in California that want to own guns, we've already established the unsafe gun law requirements of the previous bill. Now they want to add more, and that's called the micro stamping. And I believe it actually passed.
You did?
I believe so, yes. From last sobriety research, it did pass. Not 100%, but there was 1 or 2 that denied, but the rest did vote for it. and it's not going to go into effect as a requirement until 2021 sometime, I believe in July. I could be wrong. So basically, our politicians want to have this micro stamping of the make, the model, the caliber, and some other kind of random stuff to be micro stamped on the cartridge of the gun. So here you are stamping all this information on the barrel of your ammo off the pin of the gun that's supposed to eject out to where they can collect that information and go back to the precincts of a police department of investigations and to search who that gun belonged to. But in 95% cases, if I have to research it again, most people report their guns lost or stolen to the police when they notice that it's gone. So how are they still going to find the criminal that has stolen that gun by the micro stamping? I don't know. We've with the previous requirements of unsafe guns, we have multiple safety requirements to be added, as many of you out there have seen or are experiencing. You have, the back part of your hand when you hold the grip, you have a safety there. There's another one with the safety on the actual trigger. There's a caliber indicator at the top of the slide. I mean, there's all these things that have been implemented from the gun world to the guns for us Californians to be able to have it. We've accomplished it. Now they're saying that this can happen and this is the purpose of it. They claim Los Angeles PD has tested this theory and it can work and it can happen. It can be done. And it's only going to cost
to stamp it every time.
Stamp it every time that gun is firing a round out. And they want it somewhere else on another part of the actual caliber.
I wonder how much that would cost. How much more are your guns going to cost?
They are saying it's going to take an average of $1 to $5 to have this added, but it's more than that. So let's go back a little further. So that's just to put it on the gun, right? But now let's look at the machinery. Let's look at the time of the machinery.
That's what I was thinking.
How are you going to implement this onto the product to stamp this onto this tiny little bit of area that already gives you the description of what type of ammo it is that you are firing out of?
Yeah, there's already stamping on that.
Yeah, unless you're thinking on the pin spot where it's actually hitting
the firing pin.
The firing pin. That's the only way I'm understanding how this is possible. Not the firing pin,
the primer. Yeah. What? Oh my gosh. Well, so I did look it up because you said it passed. So this law passed in 1999, but what the situation is, it's an amendment. They're trying to amend, like we were talking earlier, how California doesn't change laws. You just tack on amendment after amendment after amendment. Yeah, looking into being concealed carry instructor, I'm like, oh my gosh, so many pages of laws.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a mess, but you just do what you can do. Hopefully the NRA will sue them. No, just kidding. Actually, I saw someone who talked about this and they said, we as patriots, especially in California, need to write our legislature, our local legislators and senators and so forth, and explain that we value our rights and that we will not vote for them again, and make our voices heard, like we see in a lot of other cases. A lot of other groups of people are very vocal, and the gun world, we're vocal about certain things, but we're more like, if you do something, I'm going to be mad. And then we're kind of hidden. We don't like.
We're conservative. We're very to ourselves. We're very, not passive. We're very.
Just don't want to cause a scene. Don't want to mess with it.
Because we have a right that we want to hang on to, and I have not come across anybody else of, folks owning guns to be, we got to go out there and, handle it this way or handle it that way. No, we do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
The way we're supposed to is to write our letters and to voice it in the matter we're supposed to. Now, to understand if that side is actually responding to it, if that side is actually giving us the support we need, well, this is where we're seeing it. We're not. So that's where we need to come together and start voting these folks out and get the right ones in. But now we also need to have the right ones go up to start, putting themselves on the podium as well of saying, hey, I want to run as well. I want to sit here and protect our rights as our Second Amendment to be a gun owner in California. I mean, with our epidemic that we're having here, as many people are seeing, probably like we're always on the map with everybody in the news. Oh, look at California again. Oh, look what California's doing here. This is great. Look what the governor did for them. I've lived out of state for a few years. I get it. I see it. And I'm a native California. I love California, but I don't care for how it's become.
Mm-hmm.
But the situation is where it's at, and I'm going to enjoy everything I can do now. And that's to teach firearms and to help people understand.
Bringing people in. And that's what we do. We help people with the skills, but we're also trying to be the gateway for people. I would really like the right to protect ourselves to not be a partisan issue. Like you could be a flaming liberal and still value your self-protection and that right. And hopefully, like you said, with this pandemic, we're bringing in a lot of people who aren't the typical demographic for firearms owners. So hopefully we'll see a change.
And honestly, I have to say, between myself and my husband speaking to people, there is a change happening quietly.
Mm-hmm. It's called the walk away movement. Hashtag walk away. I think I've seen
hashtag walk away. Well, California has always been, the folks that I've known growing up out of South County care about what other people's think, opinions of what they're doing and how they're doing. Hey, let's meet up the Johnsons. We got to match them up and keep moving forward. We got to have the same house, same type of car and RV, and we got to go all do this. Well, obviously, when they listen to the news and they keep trying to, say that guns are bad, they have forgotten what it was like to actually just go out to the range and go shooting. And now they're looking at it as, oh, wait, that's a bad thing. Let's not do that. And I have honestly say that there are a few people that are reaching out to me that are on the left. And I don't get into it with them on that because that's not the point of it. The point that they're coming to me for is I need to have some protection. I need to understand how this works.
My peaceful neighborhood is no longer peaceful and it's freaking me out.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. The crime is climbing tremendously. I was just in Lancaster, Palmdale. I've never seen it the way I saw it just the other day. And honestly, I can probably say I will never take my children there again with myself. I'm not the type to be scared or concerned, and I'm not scared. I'm just concerned for my children's safety. For mine, I grew up in different areas to where I know how to handle myself and how to address certain situations. But when you have a raging person driving around a Target parking lot, screaming out foul language, looking for someone, there is a problem in society. And it's coming to our nice working class neighborhoods. And it still bothers me. It still bothers me as I have my child in my hands, putting her into her car seat, waiting for the next move of what do I have to do to protect my children. And it's just disturbing. I've never seen Palmdale in my life. And I've been up in Tehachapi for 3 years, and Palmdale and Lancaster were my go-to over Bakersfield because Bakersfield is having issues with human trafficking. Women are now being hunted down in stores, dollar stores, the mall, the parking lot. Children are being abducted. I mean, this is no joke. It's the real thing. And I don't know what to say.
That's insane.
It's sad.
When you think of, I mean, kind of what you were talking about, like we got to consider the vulnerable people that are with us. And that, I think that's why motherhood and fatherhood make a lot of people decide, okay, I'm going to take my self-protection seriously. And also I looked up statistics, and it was 800,000 children in America, just the USA,
Yeah.
are trafficked a year.
Mhm.
Go missing, not just trafficked. These are the ones that are missing. There are
Mhm.
still children who are technically not missing, but are being trafficked. That's 2,000 children a day that go
It's
missing.
it's horrendous.
And we only
The-
have 50 states. I mean, if
yeah.
that was evenly split, that's insane. Anywho, we're not trying to scare people, but yeah,
No.
that's that. So California bill, talk to our people, hopefully get it fixed. Now I kind of want to switch gears. Actually, I'm going to cover one more story. Okay, a student who is going to, what's his unit? Fordham University in New York City. He posted a picture on his Instagram of a Black police officer that was murdered from the protesters of the BLM, basically saying like, hey, this is a Black person that you guys murdered.
Mhm.
And he wanted to honor this man who was and basically swept to the side. And then after that, he posted a picture of himself with his brand new AK, maybe it's AK-47 or an AR-15, not sure. AR-14, as Joe Biden says. No, just kidding. AR-15. So he posted the picture of himself with his new gun, and he was, I think he said, like, not a victim or something like that on his post.
Okay.
Like, look at my new gun. Yeah. And after he posted that, at midnight, the university police knocked on his door and came in, and they were requesting that he give up his gun. And he wasn't on campus property. So
Okay.
that's what was even crazier, is that they just like show up at his place because he was a university student. And
Mhm.
then they were going to kick him out of the university for posting a picture with a gun
Sounds like
because
Berkeley.
they said that he was threatening the
Yeah.
other students. So the NRA has decided to take his case and
Mhm.
fund it and help him fight against the university with that. So I hope they are successful with that. That's
Well,
crazy.
on interesting on that note that you say, and this is New York you speak of,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was just given a message just the other day from a friend of mine. And in this message, it's a link actually to a lawsuit to the NRA. And I'm trying to make sure I find it correctly, that a New York lawyer or governor, mayor, or something
Yeah.
is suing the NRA to completely defund them, tear them down,
Yeah.
put them up.
And then
So
the
this is,
NRA is suing her back
mhm,
for like slander or something.
which is
she
it's legit, you know.
It's just
Um,
a ploy
yeah,
for I'm doing stuff because she's going to run for office.
no surprise.
And so she's trying to get like, look, I'm an action. I take action. But yeah, to defund the NRA, the NRA is a private organization.
Hmm.
You can't defund it. It's not like Planned Parenthood or whatever. Like
Yeah.
there's no, or the police, like it's privately funded.
Mhm.
So to defund it, you'd have to like, yeah, anywho, it's funny.
It's one of these things that you sit back, you're gonna read it, you're gonna skim through the notes of it and be like, all right, let me just watch what happens. Who's gonna have the better attorneys in court? And which
Yeah.
judge are they gonna have to rule on it? That's the thing. But they never put it in front of trial. They never put it in front of your peers
Mm-hmm.
as a jury. They never have. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. But they should bring in the people around us and actually put it on trial like that.
I'm like, depends what city you're in.
But it does depend because
Like
there's
LA
right, but there's still news
or
clips that I saw an older couple in Chicago asking for help from Donald Trump to bring in the National Guard because it's insane. It's like a
Mhm.
war because they don't have their police anymore because they were removed. Do you imagine
Did
the
that
actual,
actually happen?
yeah, the actual news reporter of the local news recorded this and posted it. I'll have to find it. I'll find it and get the link over
I
to
didn't
you.
know they removed the police there.
It's that's, I don't know if it's that they removed it. It's what they said and how they said it.
Hmm.
The people that are living there, as in trying to live a
You all
normal
can comment if you're watching this. These comments, because clearly we don't know
comment.
everything.
No, not everything. I'm just only going off from what I've visually seen myself
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
what I can find as research available to me on different websites. You know, you got
Yeah.
Google,
And how
you
you see
got Yahoo,
things.
MSN. What is controlling what? It's true.
Right?
It
Who's
is
paying for what?
correct. And
Which
YouTube seems to be decent on finding some videos that are still out there.
it's
So,
true. And videos, at least the thing with videos is most of the time they're not manipulated.
in most cases.
So at least like when you see someone saying something, that's what they're saying. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to the point where everyone is really good at manipulating photos and or like videos, because photos you can manipulate, but videos are a little harder. So that leads me to we are getting in this weird movement where people are saying, even gun owners are saying the NRA is not for me, and
Mhm.
I hate the NRA and they're against gun rights, and there's all of this talk about the NRA and whether they're good or bad, um, if they should just go away, if they're harming gun owners more than not. So I wanted to have this little debate with you. Like, what are your thoughts about the NRA? And I guess we'll preface for everyone else, we are both NRA certified instructors. Do we think that's the end all be all? I mean, it was a means for us to uh, validate our training, and
Mhm.
then most states, actually every state, recognizes the NRA certifications. So if we want to progress,
Mhm.
that's where you're going. You know, you could go USCCA, you could go some other things, but like Utah does not accept USCCA certifications. So, I mean, yeah, anyhow,
That's interesting. I did not know that Utah did not accept the other side there.
nope, nope, you have to
Interesting.
be NRA.
Okay.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on NRA? Good, bad,
I feel
maybe?
both. I'm on the fence, honestly. I like their grounds. I like how they do support in the situation of that, you know, college student. They have done greatness in lots of categories. They have been torn up in this last 4 years because of obviously the presidential. They do have the bad side, that's the politicians. That's where the big money comes in, the big support. That side I am not a fan of. I get it. It's not my business. It's not a place where I run it. I'm not the owner of it. So I'm not going to have a say. I don't want to have a say. Let them do their thing. My thing is I want to get the proper information given to me for training classes to be able to support gun owners, train the gun owners, know that there is a backing to us gun owners, as in support in the legal matter. You can call them up and have, you know, conversations with some of them in certain departments about owning a gun in what state, what areas, what information do they have, because they're constantly with the CDC information updates. They're constantly with law enforcement updates, state information updates. Their statistics are there. They fact checked everything that I have seen and heard and scene myself. Like, I'll go like, okay, what's going on with this? Is that true? Is that not true? And being a native California, growing up in California, I understand what crime is here and what cities. I understand how the differences between city, and I also understand unincorporated parts of cities, of counties, and how things are reported within there. Sometimes they're not. Because,
Reported or not.
yeah, like certain parts of Santa Ana, California, they're not reported because it's unincorporated. You look at the city, it is massively reported because that's just what they do. Okay, so who's going to try to change that? I'm not. That's not my business. I'm just going to protect myself.
Uh-huh.
Um, you have to pick
And
your
I'm
battle.
not going to put my money. This is my biggest argument for the NRA. The NRA has 5 million members. Even if just each member's paying $1, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you dissolve the NRA, because I've seen some people focusing on smaller groups, like, oh, I put my money towards gun owners forever or whatever, like these groups that I've never heard of, right? If
Yes.
you're like, okay, I'm going to put my money towards them, well, what does more power? I mean, I'm going to do this on a small scale. You have 10 people with $10 each, or you have one person with $1,000
Mm-hmm.
or 100, right? Like, what has more power? So, I mean, you have all these little guys with 100,000, 150,000, or you have one organization with 500 million or whatever. It's not that much. It's probably like, I don't know, 10 million. I should have done the facts. But one organization with all of that money has a lot more power
Mm-hmm.
in the courthouse, has a lot more power to do things. It
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be that way, right? Like, it should be the
No,
voice of the people, but money is power. And
very much.
I do think, honestly, I'm like, well, let's talk about it. The NRA started in 1871. I have my
Mm-hmm.
facts here. November 16th, 1871. And the reason it started was because the North was getting the snot kicked out of them. The factories, the union, they were
Mm-hmm.
factory workers and white collar men going against the South, who were hunters and blue collar men.
Mm-hmm.
And the South, they were just dominating because they had much more skill in that area. So the whole reason that the NRA started was to train the Union, the North, and help them get the skills to beat the South. So that, I mean, it's kind of funny because originally, if you would look at it,
Mm-hmm.
although the North, slavery was, anti-slavery was Republican and pro-slavery was Democrat, but
Correct.
now, like, it seems things have, the way they're portraying things is that the
Mm-hmm.
North was Democrat, which is not true. Anywho, but like, that's the whole reason the NRA was here, for the underdog, for the liberals. And that was the purpose of them, not for the people who already knew how to shoot. Then this is where they get some iffy stuff. The NRA has supported red flag laws. This is very recently. And the reason they did that was saying, okay, well, we're going to concede on some things and they're going to concede, and like, we're going to negotiate. A lot of gun owners are not happy about that. They believe that you are giving an inch and they're going to take a mile, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Another thing that when I was doing my research, that was kind of sketch, is the oil and gas industries donated money to the NRA. And then immediately after, in 2010 through 2012, they started, the NRA was lobbying to remove public wildlife land, and allow the oil and the gas industries to have access to these lands. And so I'm like, well, why that is anti-gun is because
Mm-hmm.
hunters were using that land. And the NRA basically was like, yeah, we'll take your money and we'll squander the hunters a little bit there. Luckily,
Yeah.
that those bills didn't pass anyway. So, I mean, everyone that was donating to the NRA was wasting their money on that one. And then another thing that is annoying that the NRA does is they use fear mongering and divisive tactics, like us
Mhm.
versus them. And they've really gotten into Republican versus Democrat. Like, and yes, I mean, that's kind of the way it's appearing. If you believe in gun rights, you're a Republican. If you don't,
Mhm.
then you're a Democrat. But the idea for us gun owners is we want to make it that's not a partisan issue. And
Mhm.
the NRA is, by making that division, it's keeping it a partisan issue. So
Yes.
those are some of the negatives that I found that have like bothered people. What are some negatives to you from the NRA?
Um, I'm not sure if the NRA is in it yet. I haven't fact checked it. But there is a sin tax that is being trying to be added to our guns and our ammo federally. So instead of just having our massive tax on alcohol and cigarettes, now they want to hit our ammo and our guns. That could put a massive dent in our industry. Basically, you're looking at maybe a 300% tax on a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Not
Well, the
necessary.
NRA would fight against that one. I would believe they would.
But that's where they're getting into. It's a federal side. Where, like I said, I haven't done the massive research I want to do on that because that's going to take some digging. Um, I mean, gosh, I mean, just to start with that, it's going to be, a few hundred pages to figure out what's going on.
And where they're saying it.
Correct. And then who is backing it and who's not backing it? Is it the Republicans or is it the Democrats or is it somebody completely different that I don't even know or heard of? It's just, like I said, the NRA does have the two sides, but then every company that has money has two sides. It's always
Mm-hmm.
been that way. Our government has two sides, and we have money. I don't know how they're going to keep dishing it out, but they have money somewhere. Oh, that's right. They
They
have it from
print
us,
it.
our
It's fake
taxpayer
money.
money. Yeah. Remember the tea? You had to dish it with a tea because they, technically they took our alcohol back in the day.
So my thought is, I don't think we should dissolve the NRA. I think it would be better if we had new leaders of the NRA, a fresh
Mm-hmm.
mindset, because right now the new gun owners are
Mm-hmm.
not jumping on the NRA bandwagon. And so they're going to lose a lot of that. I mean, just with years, because
Yes.
older people are
Yes.
not safe. They're going to lose a lot of their funding if they don't change things, I believe. Maybe not, though, because they're still the main certifying agent in the nation. And both you and I are NRA certified
Well,
instructors.
it's a great class. It's
Mm-hmm.
the
Their
information is fantastic.
materials are really good.
Really good.
Um,
Really nice.
yeah, they have really nice materials. They have really good training. They do. They support hunter education. They support a lot of things, and I love that they are actively fighting for the rights. And I love that they're so huge that they can, because you and
Yes.
I cannot.
Mm-mm.
And throw in all of our money, even if we threw if I threw all of my net worth at something like that, like I might win one case. I wouldn't win the huge ones that are being thrown at
GoFundMe account would be a large account to start filling up to be able to pay.
to fight these things. So that's my 2 bits on the NRA and their thoughts. Or just because I'm seeing a lot of anti, and I'm like, dude, I think it's almost like religion,
Mhm.
how like Christian churches fight against each other. I'm like, you guys are on the same team. Stop fighting against each other. That's how I think when I see other gun people saying
Mhm.
that, I'm not affiliated with the NRA at all. And I'm like, we're on the same team. stop fighting within each other. Let's
What
all, yeah.
I would like, and I would appreciate anyone, open opinion, to comment on this. I want to know what's their opinion of why they don't like the NRA. What information did they receive and consumed through news, through a friend, through their personal experience of why? What was their actual reason why they don't like the NRA? I personally have not come across one to say, I don't like the NRA. You
Yeah.
have to back to me in my lifestyle for me to say, I don't like you. Otherwise you're just a business and I'm going to do a business transaction with you. Until you affect my life, then that's a different story.
You're going to hear my husband who's getting food in the background.
The positive part about the NRA that has affected my life is I paid for a certification to be a pistol instructor, certified as an NRA pistol instructor. That has affected my life in a positive. I have not experienced a negative to really have a negative to give. But I would love to.
Like, how have they negatively impacted you? Not just, oh, I heard, I mean, that one, okay, oil, gas money, that one's like kind of sketch, but guess what? It didn't even pass. But it's like, yeah, is it because they're misusing funds? And how much of the funds are being misused? Because doing more research, I see more of the funds being used for good than bad. I don't know. Another huge agent, or they're trying to get in there, is USCCA. That's a big one. The thing is, I looked into USCCA. They didn't have it in my location. And then also, it was, I mean, you're looking at thousands of dollars for their program versus hundreds of dollars for the NRA program.
Yes.
And yeah, maybe you get what you pay for. I don't know. But like that pushes out those of us that are not millionaires yet, or those of us that want to become. I mean, a lot of mama bear instructors are young. We're not established yet. Like we're still figuring, we're working it. And so to bring someone in and be like, oh yeah, now you got to pay $2,500 or whatever to be a USCCA, like that's not chump change. So, I mean, not that like I said, I'm not a USCCA instructor, so I'm not against them. I just think the NRA does a lot of good too. So we're in agreement, but like Shonna said, comment below if you're like, no, the NRA's the worst. Okay. Whew. You're still all with us. It's late at night. We're giving this a go. We'll get more polished with time. Okay, so now I'm gonna basically do a quiz of Shonna, kind of let you guys see a little bit about her, get to know her more, and where she came from. So Shonna, what got you into guns?
My grandfather. I have to give it to him. He is a Korean vet. He just passed. The most amazing, I'm not saying death is a great thing, but in order to pass the way he did, have dinner, dessert, and in his sleep, I can't ask for anything better for that man. He's a heart of gold. Heart of gold. He actually is the person that handed me my first firearm in my hands at 8 years old at my grandma's ranch in Hemet. And ever since then, I fell in love with it. And he's always been a supportive person, no matter what direction I went in life. And yeah, anytime I asked, hey, Grandpa, I want to go shooting, he would load me up in the truck and we'd head on out there to Hemet and take it to the ranch area and go shooting.
Aww.
I mean, the good memories, the memories. One day my kids will have that too. So it was, yeah.
That's cute. And why did you decide to purchase a gun? So guns were fun to go shoot, but why did you want to actually own one?
Again, being raised in a home with gun owners as my dad and my grandfather, it was actually there for protection. It was basically being able to know if I do live on my own as a woman, or I'm by myself in my home, I know I have something to help with that extra defense to be able to break the contact and get help. That is
Have you ever had to use your gun or
absolutely.
threaten or show your gun or anything?
I have, yes, um, had my gun prepared because I've heard noise from within my home, as in the circumstances I've lived in of my past. I was a single woman by myself in a not such a great neighborhood of a Section 8 in Orange County. If anybody understands what that is, you would get the fact of why. But no, I've never had to pull it out on anybody of a person. I've never had to, hey, don't, go away.
Back
I've never
away.
had to address something of a negative with my gun. It was
Mhm.
basically the cat knocked something out over, outside, or it was it was this
You heard a weird noise.
it was the weird noise, kind of the bad vibe, stuff like that. But no, I have not. And officers have always been great to come out and double check for me, and never had an issue. I pray and hope that I never do. I don't want to have that problem. But if it does, I'm ready. I'm prepared to my best ability.
Right. Um, why did you want to start teaching? I mean, we've kind of talked a lot about this, like just natural conversation, but
Yeah.
why do you feel it's important for women in particular to learn how to use a gun? Why not pepper spray?
Well, pepper spray.
Why
Okay.
not take judo?
Who has time? I I mean, okay. I know a handful of women off the top that one has never shot a gun, never held a gun, doesn't want to be around a gun, doesn't like the word gun, doesn't like the conversation of guns. Those are all categories of each of these people, and they're all women. And I've seen how we're still friends. Matter of fact, some of us are family. Um, I respect them as they respect me in the fact that I'm a gun owner and I like guns, but I also kind of poke in the matter of, well, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? Just to kind of see where the balance is for them. I believe in what was taught to me. Women have the same rights as men to defend ourselves. One, defend yourself, turn it into a hobby, and it can also be a tool. So those three things are main factors of my home to understand what a firearm is used for. Now, something has been said to me in passing is that a gun is capable to make a difference between a 90-pound woman and a 220-pound man just by a single handgun. If women could understand that and be educated of the process of what a gun is, and it's a mechanical piece of machinery, that's done and it has functions, but it's just like driving a car. You are driving a machine that can run somebody over, can lose control. There's more damage with vehicles on the road, more lives lost with vehicles on the road than actual handguns.
And we have
Handguns
more gun population.
are,
There's a more gun quantity
Mhm.
than cars.
There's been
Significant.
more lives saved with guns than lives
Life
lost.
saved with a card. How many lives are saved by car? Actually, no, I mean I guess people are driving to work and whatnot. But yeah, I do see that. So it's an equalizer. How was your shoot today?
Oh gosh, the shoot was incredible. We had a lady that unfortunately lost her husband 3 months ago. She is a senior, and I apologize for saying her age. She's 70 years old, and she refused to learn about guns. Never wanted to shoot. Her husband kept persisting for her to learn, and in the way I'm looking at it is, she felt so comfortable in her life with her husband in it to protect her. Now he's out of the picture. Now she's looking for protection. And
Yeah.
she's, she came forward as, she actually almost made me cry. Like, I still want to cry because it's so powerful on how she felt on shooting the first round out of a gun. Like, she was just, no one can understand what that feeling is until you tried it. And making sure that she understood, look, just do the one. Don't do any more. I want you to feel what you're feeling, the anticipation of fear, excitement, adrenaline, emotion, everything has come to a top for her at that one single moment. And it's incredible. It's hunters can understand this. It's like shooting your first kill. Okay. And it's not, I know that sounds kind of rough, but it's true. Hunters understand that. Like
I
your
don't.
first shot
Never
and you
been
got
a
that fear, it's incredible feeling. You're going to flip one way or another. You're going to go love it or you're going to hate it. And that's where your emotions play that part. How strong is your emotion to agree with that next step of purchasing a gun? She wants to now know what would be a best gun for her to purchase, what type of ammo she should buy. And I mean, she was just the most adorable person. Most, like 70 years later, she fired her first gun.
That's something I love about the firearms world is this is not just like, it's a hobby and it's a useful skill, and you can do it when you get older. It's one of the things, it's a sport and a hobby that you can do into your 70s, and it is still safe as long as you have physical capabilities. Like the NRA trainer that we know, he's like in his mid to late 70s, and he's a world champion in cowboy action shooting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a cool thing that, like, what we can do when we're young, we can still do when we're older. So what are other hobbies? Let's learn more about you. What's your family situation? What do you like to do for fun other than shoot and kill animals? Just kidding.
Well, I have not personally ever shot and killed an animal, other than maybe a rattlesnake. I'm not against it, and I'm not for it. I can't see myself doing it unless I really have to protect my children. But otherwise, hobbies, oh my gosh, if I find the time and had the time, I would love to mountain bike. Let's see what else. Mountain bike, kayak, ocean kayak. Family is number one. Anytime I can get with my family, husband, kids together, that would be phenomenal. We do take every advantage of that. Off-roading, we're really big in off-roading. Archery, we do archery as a, hey, let's go in the backyard and shoot some hay bales.
Reusable ammo.
Yes.
I was like, I might be getting hooked here.
Yes.
And I went and tried it because I was like, I just go there, grab it, and that's it. And I can do this all day. It's time. That's it. That's all I have to use it here. Yeah. Archery.
And you have your choice. You have your choice between a recurve and a compound, and they're both.
I don't know the difference between that. And the crossbow. Someone I asked on social media, I was like, what's your favorite kind of bow? And I'm like, I have no clue. Should have looked that up. Recurve is the one that you do this?
Yeah, so it has the one string, and you put the one string on it's like an Indian bow.
Oh, and compound's the one with the little...
that you can lock and hold for a long period of time.
And then a crossbow's the one with the trigger?
Yes.
There you go. Everyone's learning about this. You have 2 kiddos.
I do. I have, oh my gosh. My oldest is 2 and my youngest is 3 months.
Oh my gosh, when you say it that way.
So there is no sleep at all in this house. Not for me. No.
Oh,
Husband goes to the bedroom when he needs to work early in the morning, or he stays at a hotel, which once again leaves me as a lone female with 2 children. I do have a few dogs that help alert situations.
How many dogs do you have?
Oh gosh, I got 3 right now. I'm pushing for 4.
Want one more?
Well, unfortunately, I had to let my oldest one kind of
Oh
go
yeah,
for a
I
couple of
saw
days.
that. Or I remember
Um,
you saying that.
yeah, she was almost 8 years old, double hip dysplasia since she was 1. So we probably should have done it sooner in the matter of her pain level, but she was still there.
Baby, and you love your dog.
I love my dog too much.
Yeah.
That was wrong of me to hold on to that too long, but she was a phenomenal dog. But now I have 3, and I'm gonna kind of just keep that way for a little while, calm everything down. Um, Other than that, I have 3 cats to help with the rodents because, cats are great with rodents.
6
Um,
animals.
well, I used to have 17 chickens until the fox and owls took them.
Oh my gosh. That's
Just so everybody
crazy.
understands, Tehachapi is an unknown, wonderful town away from the cities. I am a city girl. I love my malls. I love my shopping. Yes, I am a Disney addict and wish they were open because I would love to be back at Disney. I met my husband at Knott's when I was 15. We didn't
I didn't
technically.
know this. That's fun. This is fun to hear.
Yeah, I was the cat caller. Yes,
What's that?
so he actually came walking by with his brother, and I went walking by with my girlfriends, and I cat called him for his attention.
Like, what'd you say?
I was like, oh God, what did I say? Um, I want to say, hey, good looking, I think it was. I could be wrong.
The obnoxious 15-year-old. Is your husband older than you?
Yes, by a couple years.
What's
I was on the border of 16, and I believe he just graduated high school as
Oh,
18.
okay. Okay.
Nothing
So
happened. We kissed. That was it. Other
it's
than
a
that,
well, we're really gonna get justice if anything happened. You're married. But I mean, for the record.
yeah, for the record, no, he is the most incredible person I could ever ask for. He is the best friend of mine. There is no secrets. There is nothing hiding among us. I know his past. He knows my past. He knows I've been married. I know he has been in a description of
In a
marriage.
committed relationship.
Committed relationship of buying a house with a girlfriend. Bad
Mhm.
move.
So you guys knew each other at like you were 15, he was 18, but then
Yeah.
you didn't date, you went your own
No,
ways, came
we
back and
didn't.
like
That's the thing. We didn't date. We stayed best friends. And by the time I lived in California until I moved for just a few years, the random thing I didn't know until we got together was we were always 10 miles within each other's distance. Always. No joke. Everywhere I told him I lived, he told me where he lived, and we were within 10 miles of one another.
weird.
Weird, very weird. Yeah. And then when I moved out of state to Texas, which is a pretty rad state, I have to say, they're good people, really good people. I miss a lot of them. So when I moved back to address some of my personal lively styles of negativity to move forward and leave that back where I picked it up from, we started dating. Once I went on my way and cleaned it up, he did his thing. We started on a fresh start. And honestly, that first weekend, we have not been apart since.
How'd you reconnect?
Mm. Hey, I'm back in town. You too.
Very, very intense reconnection there.
Oh yeah, no,
Serendipitous.
he picked me up. We went for ice cream down in, I think it was Laguna Beach. There's like a little ice cream shop right there to see the sunset. And then we were just friends. We didn't do, nothing happened. And we just had ice cream, talked about some stuff. And basically when everything got cleared up on my end and his end, we started dating. And ever since it's been great. Now I'm married. We have a house, 2 kids. This is a
6
lifestyle.
animals.
6 animals, yeah. Would I want more? And he's talking about horses, and I'm just like, you're insane because I'm the one that has to take care of it all. Your work. I'm not. Well, I do. I
That's
work from
why
home.
I don't have dogs. Like I mean, I'm not gonna turn this camera around. You will see my house.
That's why you're looking at the
This wall is clean. This wall is clean. Yeah, I like can't even do the hair thing. So that's fun. We're excited to have you in Tehachapi. Tehachapi's lucky to have you. Oh, we didn't talk about your, like, you worked at a gun shop.
Oh gosh.
Little
Oh yes.
tidbit of information there.
Oh,
And you have some managing experience, and what are other, got your NRA certification and getting ready to get your concealed carry
yes. Absolutely.
certification as a concealed
Waiting for
carry
the
instructor.
certification. I'm waiting for my, I believe it's FSC
Mm-hmm.
approval.
And your yeah, your DOJ.
The DOJ, yep. I'm waiting for the DOJ to take their 4 to 6 weeks on background check, which I'm technically already in their system since 2004 for other things, positive things. Positive.
For other things. You were already a concealed carry holder
I
for
was,
another county.
yep,
So
out
you're
of
used
Kern
to doing
County.
that.
Wait, I'm in
Tulare.
Tulare County.
Yeah. So that's kind of some of your background a little bit with the gun stuff. Okay, we are running up on the hour mark here. I wanted to end with a story of the good guy winning. And it's kind of funny that we talked about pepper spray, or that like I randomly brought that up, because this is what happened north of you in Eureka, California. And let me pull up this story here. Just looking at board games. Like, that's one of my hobbies, is board gaming. Okay, so a resident in Eureka, California was forced to defend himself with a handgun after several individuals tried to swarm him on his property. So what originally happened is he is hearing this argument outside, and they weren't on his property, they were across the way. And he goes out there and he basically tells them, hey, leave, get away from here, have this argument elsewhere.
Right.
And it backfired. This whole group of people started swarming his property. And this is what blew my mind. He first used pepper spray on them, and that didn't deter them. And so then they were coming at him, and he was like, oh crud. He started running inside his house. One of them followed him and was beating on him, and he was able to get his gun and turn around and fire shots, and then they all split. So I thought that was May 22nd.
Oh my goodness.
When that happened. Now I'm like, wow, he used the less than lethal force first, like everyone says, right? Like, oh, don't use deadly force. This is like the populace, not the gun community. But like, yeah, use pepper spray instead. And had he not been able to get his gun, like, they're chasing him inside his house, beating on him. What if his gun was upstairs in his room in a lockbox?
Yeah.
Like,
so
at least
you have to understand though, what you say about that pepper spray, and this has been proven, pepper spray is not that high dosage of pepper spray. It's only designed as in, you might be able to get more out of your own pepper out of your house,
an
grinding
irritant
it up and throwing it in their face, than actually throwing their can of pepper spray. Because if you read the actual ingredients of it and start justifying what's strong or what's not, it's going to be looking at prescriptions or buying over-the-counter Tylenol. You know, you look at the back, like, okay, is generic the same as name brand? It's different in pepper spray as well. They say Mace is this and pepper spray is that. It was not something when I worked at the gun store to push, because being a woman, you have different situations that can happen. Let's say we're in Tehachapi. The wind blows like crazy. Okay, so you're going to take your pepper spray out and you're going to spray that person in the face? Well, guess what? That's coming right back at you. So now how are you supposed to defend yourself being sprayed in yourself in the face, though you're aiming the other direction? And
I
then
didn't even think about that. The wind.
It's anywhere at all. You have that breeze that's going to come along. So let's say you have your children with you. Let's say you have a spouse with you, or the surrounding people around you. when we watch these protests and these riots that are occurring and they're spraying the pepper spray and the mace or whatever they're using, it's a strong stream. Like,
It sticks to them.
yes, and it goes straight out, but there is still the residual, I can't say the
Residual.
word.
There's a little bubble.
Right, that's going to be there and it's going to blow in there. And that's why they're wearing their masks, because it's going to come back at them as they're, walking forward. Obviously we have the pepper spray, and I know there's plenty of stories that people have used them and it has saved them and it has protected them. And I'm like, yes, if that works, great, fantastic.
That's a good thing. I'm curious. I should look up when pepper spray works.
I do actually have a story for you on the pepper spray.
Yeah, give me one.
Out of Las Vegas just recently. She's on her way home at night, just left the store, went to the bus stop, waited for the bus to show up, and just so bothered by this. She was being invaded in her personal space by a guy that did not look right. He looked kind of mental, a little off. Who knows what the situation is, who knows what the story is, but she kept saying, please step away, get away, get away, get away, step away. Next thing you know, she pulls out her pepper spray, sprays him in the face. He drops to the ground, and this poor thing, oh my gosh, this poor thing calls 911 to go, this guy just wouldn't leave me alone, and I pepper sprayed him, like looking for help and support. And they're like, they weren't supportive. They gave her like kind of like the third degree of like, what do you do? Why? Kind of thing. And I'm looking at her like, I mean, you're defending yourself. You're not killing the person. You threw pepper spray in his face to get away from him. But you're being so polite and so nice to call 911 to report it, that you pepper sprayed somebody in the face because he was invading your space. And then they
never showed up.
They never showed up. So now she Ubers and takes, pays more to take a personal car home instead of waiting for the bus that would be more reasonable for her.
Well, yeah, you got the dude on the ground, and then you're afraid he's going to get up. And Las Vegas, we got bigger fish to fry. But I mean, at least pepper spray worked there.
I was happy to hear that she did something to protect herself. It was a good thing.
And she got the Uber a different way. So yeah, guns win and some self-defense wins. Okay, we are thanks for joining me today on this first go, chatting guns. Sorry if we're a little tired, guys. It's a little late. It's midnight my time.
A long day.
10 o'clock Shonna's time. And yeah, she taught a class and then been out all day. So we may be a little tired. If we've been yawning, it's not a personal thing.
I'm just moving to stay awake.
We're just a little tired, but we wanted to get this out, wanted to start getting some content out and having Mama Bear Defense regular talking about guns and hearing some women input in the gun world. So any thoughts, Shonna, before we peace out?
No, I'm just please comment. I want to hear comments.
Yeah, please, if anyone, just say hi. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.